Throne of Liberty disaster. Oh my god. Here's another MMO that's having problems. Let's just jump straight into this and see what's wrong with Throne of Liberty.
Up until today, one of my most anticipated upcoming MMOs that was scheduled to release this year has been Throne and Liberty. Previews of the game showed...
So has it been delayed, or is it going to be a complete mess at launch? I'm kind of hoping it's been delayed if there is problems so that the developers can actually try and fix it. But if they're still going to launch it with all of the problems that we're going to see in this video, then I'm pretty sure this game is going to be dead at launch.
Quite a bit of promise with some solid looking visuals, a large scale open world, big player counts, and some really interesting sounding features and systems for both PvE and PvP. This game, which has been in development for like over a decade now, seemed like it was coming together to turn out to be something pretty decent. Well, the closed beta testing for Throne and Liberty began this week over in South Korea, and there was no NDA. So what this means is we've had a bunch of streams and YouTube videos out there letting us actually see gameplay in action and hear some players' early impressions. And it's not looking good. In fact, it's looking very, very bad. So bad, in fact, I think that there's a decent chance if this game launches as it is right now, it's
please delay it. Please delay it.
Flop, which is a
but
real
it looks
bummer
good.
Because, like, I was genuinely excited for this game. I was really looking forward to this game, and I still intend on giving it a look because I want to form my own opinions and impressions, and I want to have my own experience with it. But it has quickly gone from one of the best looking new MMOs releasing in 2023 to quite possibly probably one of the worst. Like they were just like that. Just like that.
Damn.
So let's go over some of the
and it looks so good
issues that have popped up over these past few days. First and foremost, and hands down, one of the most important things to get right in any game, in my opinion,
is the gameplay.
Is the combat. What are the mechanics? How does it work? And how does it feel to play your game? Well, the combat in Throne and Liberty simply looks absolutely horrible. I'd go as far as to say it's probably one of the worst iterations of tab targeting that I've ever seen.
Really? It's not
supposed to be a AAA PC.
Hold on. What the fuck does he have a clown nose? Oh, what the fuck? That threw me off guard. And secondly, it's a tap based, like with your mouse tap based. Oh fuck! Come on. No. Fuck's sakes! That's the second time it's happened today. So it's tap based.
Combat. What are the mechanics? How does it work? And how does it feel to play your
game?
It
is.
Well, the combat in Throne and Liberty simply looks
no wonder it's
horrible.
shit.
I'd go as far as to say it's probably one of the worst iterations of tab targeting that I've ever seen for what is supposed to be a AAA.
Like, I know that WoW is kind of like it, but that's only to like click on enemies and like target specific enemies. This looks like you move with like a Diablo style movement, which why? It's an open world MMO. Use WASD, please.
PC MMO. And this is not a tab target versus action combat discussion. It's not a debate about the pros and cons to both of those systems, because I've played and enjoyed a ton of tab targeting in many different MMOs. I think that system is totally adequate. I think it's got its own merits to it, and there's parts of tab targeting that I even like more than action combat, and vice versa. This isn't about that. This is just a really bad version of tab targeting.
My problem is, like, you can't move and hit, so any kind of movement, but it's very, very, very static. Like, if I hit him once and then I run around, I literally won't do any damage. Now, if I change to a ranged weapon, then you have the same problem in that it's very, very static. If I try and move, I'm not going to do any damage at all, no matter
that is very dumb.
Something like that. It just freezes you in place. People might like that, but I think
no one would like that. I would not play the game for more than an hour if that was the combat. Really, my god, that I would get so fucking frustrated with that.
Right now, this ain't for me.
So as you can see, how they've implemented tap target combat in Throne and Liberty, it just hard roots you in place. And there isn't even auto attacking. Literally,
that means that when a boss is trying to like do a big AoE and it shows like the red circle, god, what a fucking perfect pause. When the boss is doing like an attack and it's like shows on the ground, you cannot move away and do damage at the same time. That is dumb. That is absolutely fucking dumb.
There's practically nothing that you can do while moving. If you are moving, you are not dealing damage. To deal damage, you have to stand completely still.
That is dumb.
Evidently, and maybe unsurprisingly, This has pretty massive effects on melee characters.
Melee, range, magic, it is absolutely dog shit.
PvP.
How's melee in PvP? It's dog shit. Like if the target is moving, you can't attack them. But the PvP endgame is gonna be, large scale, so that'll be different. But for like 1v1s and stuff, one can just run away.
Because of the fact that you cannot move.
You're trying to hit the opponent and he just keeps running away. What the fuck? That is dumb.
At all while attacking, and this is a tab target game and not an action combat game, the result is a combat system that feels very, very static. And by most accounts, pretty much from everyone that I've heard talk about the combat in the game, it just doesn't feel good. It seems pretty darn boring. And talking about PvP,
boring,
it's pretty rough.
frustrating,
like, I've seen
everything.
Groups of players, just both of them standing still, continuously attacking each other, barely doing any damage. Because remember, they're never going to be moving and dealing damage. They're both just standing there, like staring at each other, swinging their weapons and casting spells. And the health.
It's a Dragon Ball fight. You know when they like fast punching each other and they're so close to each other. That's basically how it is. You do no damage to the opponent because they're constantly like just tanking their hits or blocking it, or those type of like fight scenes at Dragon Ball annoy the fuck out of me, because those fights, it's basically like throwing key blasts at each other. It does nothing except look kind of cool, but it just does nothing. It's absolutely fucking boring and useless in anything.
Bars are barely moving. Like, what is this? This isn't gameplay. And then there's also this clip of how PvPing as melee, when people just decide to move, looks absolutely horrible. I mean, this seems incredibly frustrating. Like, they just keep running away, and while they're running away, you can't do anything because you can't do damage while you're moving. I know some of you might be thinking, Force, there are tons of games that have abilities with cast times or attacks.
But this is different.
And that is absolutely true. Like, this is not uncommon.
This is absolutely fucking different.
The big difference here appears to be that there are virtually 0 attacks that you can do while moving. So 95% of the time, you have to stand completely.
And if there is, then everybody's going to be picking that class for that skill so that they can do damage or more damage. Because if there is a skill that one class can use while moving, while dealing to do damage, every fucking body is going to pick that class. Because, why not? Because you can do damage while moving. It's going to be the main class everybody picks.
Still to do any damage. Most games that do have attacks that root you in place will also have some sort of movement attached to those attacks, or they will let you weave movement abilities to keep up with things in between the attacks that you're doing. Well, Throne and Liberty appears to have none of this. But don't just take my word for it, my anecdotal evidence from watching this, and then the opinions that I'm pulling into this video from people who have been playing over these past few days. Check this out. There was a Reddit thread a few months back that was detailing specifically how combat in Throne and Liberty works and what exactly about it feels so bad. Now, at the time that this was posted, people were writing it off as untrue because we hadn't actually seen any real live gameplay
that looks good
point in time. Well, now that we've actually seen the game in action, the way they describe combat appears to be spot on. Like, they described it exactly how we're seeing it function right now, which then also leads me to believe
like the animations look good.
That they discussed
it's all flashy and shit.
Plays out over time are true, and they don't sound good. Here, let's take a look. So, to quote them, when you use a skill, you are not able to move till the animation is over.
Oh, that's dumb.
Very few skills.
This game is not going to do well if they punch it like this.
Trailer videos,
it's going to be a dead game.
A two-handed sword with a whirlwind, or dual wielding that allows you to teleport to your target, or the bow that has a backdrop. So basically, they're saying there are some skills that have movement in this game, but most of them will hard root you in place for the entire duration. They then go on to say, for people that associate the you can't move while using a skill to a system like the one from, say, Black Desert, it is really different. In BDO, 80% of the skills also allow you to move since they have movement attached to them and are weaved with mobility skills and animation cancel, which in turn makes your character really mobile, making it seem pretty much that you move while attacking. And that is very true from what I remember with my time playing Black Desert Online. While many of the characters attacks that I played did root them in place, most of them did have some built-in movement, either sidestepping or sliding or dashing in pretty much any direction for a lot of the various attacks. Plus, on top of that, there's just so much additional movement in the game that you weave in between those attacks, combining that with animation canceling, that resulted in combat that,
like Desert Online actually looks quite good.
Very mobile. It was actually very mobile and rooted at the same time. Throne and Liberty has pretty much none of that, and the result is combat that just feels super static, and you've seen it for yourself in the clips that we've seen. You're just standing still like half the time. And there aren't even auto attacks in the game that will happen.
Really?
You can't like chase a character and do auto attacks. There's none of that. You'll be standing behind them doing nothing as you continue to move behind them. They continue to make points and compare.
So the only damage you can do is with your skills. That's kind of bad.
This tab target system to how it works in other MMOs. They say normally in tab target games you are able to move while attacking with a lot of your skills and abilities, like for example in WoW and SOTOR and ArcAge, etc. But the current TL system makes it so that combat of this game is really static, and even the Korean forums are already saying that playing melee classes is not even worth it because players and mobs can literally just walk away from 99% of your damage by moving 0.5 meters. Range classes are fine since they work like they do for normal casters in many other MMORPGs as you cast the skill and then you move.
Yeah, but if you try and move out of like an attack, then you can't do damage. So then you actually, because if the melee character is chasing you, then I mean, all you can do is run away, and then it just constantly goes into the same loop of you run after the target is running away. No one's gonna be able to do anything, because once the melee character gets in range, then the range character is gonna move away, because the range character doesn't want to get hit. So again, all you're gonna do is be running around in circles. It is dumb.
So with all of this in mind, I'll just reiterate what I said at the top. This does appear to be like one of the worst iterations of tab target combat that I've ever seen. It seems incredibly static. It seems incredibly lifeless. It seems really, really boring. And if you don't have a combat system that is fun to engage with, people aren't going to...
I don't understand why they just don't have it like Diablo. I mean, Diablo's like combat is... Sure, it's tab target, but I mean, you're able to at least move while using your skills. I know it's two completely different games. I know that Diablo's like a top-down kind of view, and this is like 3D, like third person. I know that, but you should still be able to do it.
Stick around playing for pretty much anything else, like whatever is in the rest of the game.
I mean, if the game is this bad, like the combat is this bad, I'd rather just go and play like other games. There's Genshin, there's WoW, there's Final Fantasy XIV, there's Warframe, there's Black Desert Online, there's Tower of Fantasy. There's so many other fucking games, MMOs, that I'd rather want to play than this. There really is.
Isn't gonna matter.
Blue Protocol is coming out, and that's a free-to-play MMO as well. I don't know when I think it's next year, so it is still a ways away. But I mean, the combat looks a lot better in that game than it does in this game. I would not want to play this game. I'll not even check it out. There's even Lost Ark.
But players aren't going to be around to see the big seamless open world. They're not going to be
and
around
Diablo
to
4
see
is coming
the
out.
Dungeon system or the interesting large-scale boss fights and large-scale and open field PvP. If the game is not fun to play, most people won't be around to engage.
This dude has 2 million health. What the fuck?
With any of
or
1.5. To help
1.5.
alleviate the fact that combat does appear to be very, very boring, they have automated literally all of it. Yes, auto just about every aspect of playing the game. You have auto attack and skill use, where basically you can toggle your abilities so that they will instantly trigger the second that they're off cooldown. If that wasn't enough though, there's just full-on auto
Look, he's not even touching his keyboard. Oh my god.
You can just AFK and the game will grind mobs in the area.
Like, I don't mind AFK farming, like for battling. I mean, Honkai has it. Pretty sure WoW has something similar. I do not know if Final Fantasy has it, but AFK farming is not a bad thing. It really isn't, because if you want to go like AFK for like 10 minutes to like just, you know, stretch your legs out or get something to drink or some food, it is perfect, because then you're still able to hunt, get XP, get materials to like sell for gold. It is not a bad thing.
for you, continuously attacking while you're going.
But if you want to play the game, but it and you can just like everything's automated, it is kind of boring.
Off making a sandwich or watching a movie or whatever else you're doing. There's also auto pathing, of course, where you can click parts of the map, click on a quest, and it will automatically run there for you.
See, that's
In
not
fact,
bad.
They have a full-on autoplay offline mode. What does that mean? Well, it means the game plays itself while you are logged out and the computer is shut down. It appears to be a time limit of 8 hours a day, and
that is not bad, because in theory it is not bad, because it is an like the MMO on like RPG on your phone. I forgot what the name is, but there's lots of like ads for it. It's like it does like farming and like item making and shit offline. It's technically not a bad thing. It isn't, because then it's less. It takes less time to actually level up. But I mean, yeah, honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, I'm trying to think of like bad points for it, but I honestly can't think of any. That is actually quite good, in my opinion. Especially for like the casual players. It is very, very good. For like people that only have like an hour to 2 hours to play every day, it's actually quite good.
Say that doesn't seem like a coincidence, right? Suspiciously, 8 hours a day is around the same amount of time that most people tend to sleep. It's almost as if they're trying to incentivize people to have their PC on running, either playing themselves or auto playing for 16 hours a day, and then while you're resting for the 8 hours at night, shut it down. Don't worry, we've got auto offline play where the game...
That is not so bad if you really think about it, because most people only have an hour to 2 hours. The working man, like the average working person, I'm speaking about them because that's what most games is aimed for, like at. They're not aimed for people like us, or people that, or like content creators that can actually play the game full time. It's not aimed for people like that. It's aimed for the average working person, because the average working person has work, has kids, has like just life in general. They do not have a lot of time to play. So it's not that bad of a system to implement in an MMORPG. It's not.
It will play itself for you. And I think the worst part about that is it's going to create these situations where people are going to say they end up staying up later, right? They shut off their PC, they click autoplay, and they don't fall asleep for a couple of hours. You know people are then going to wake up after 6 hours when their 8 hours of auto offline play is running up to make sure that they log back in and click autoplay while their PC is also running. Like, it's just... so much of it is an absolute nightmare. Although I will say, I don't even care so much about a game that has auto combat or auto pathing or auto skill use on cooldowns. Like, games can have that if you also still have a good combat system, and if this trade-off is, yes, you can automate things, but it won't be as efficient if you're playing by yourself. Fine, whatever. If you want that in the game for while people are AFK and they still want to accumulate some gold. I don't love how that just plays into FOMO, where you got to feel like you're constantly keeping your PC running. Although I guess this game alleviates that with offline play. But my point is, although I do not prefer that games have these automated systems for combat, for playing itself, for farming, I don't love those things. I don't kind of love the pressures that they create within the game. I feel like they ultimately take away from the gameplay experience. But if games have them, fine. It's that in conjunction with the fact that just normally playing the game, evidently, from all we've heard and seen, again, I haven't played myself, I will, I promise, and there will be follow-up videos. All accounts and all reporting from this current test say that playing the game feels bad, but don't worry, you can just automate it all to play itself anyways. And
if they improve the combat to where it's less janky and static, then people will say that the offline, like, grindy thing and the I don't really like his points on why it is bad is very dumb, because he's not thinking about the average player. If they improve the combat where you're able to run and attack and make it less like rooted, like you stand still while you like use your skills, if they fix that problem, the automated stuff isn't so bad. Like the offline thing. Honestly, I think that's a brilliant thing to add in almost any like RPG game. It really is. The automatic gameplay also really not bad. Most people do not have time to grind, to like farm for gold. They do not. This is a brilliant thing to add.
None of this is even touching on, and I will touch on this in the future because I will continue to cover and dive in myself, like I said. None of this talks about the cash shop, which already seems likely to be very pay to win and pay to skip. You know, NCSoft has notoriously had a bad monetization in every single one of their MMOs. The only exception that you can point to is Guild Wars 2, but keep in mind, they didn't make Guild Wars 2, right? They didn't create Guild Wars 2. Every MMO that NCSoft has developed themselves ranks amongst the worst of the worst when it comes to how these games handle monetization. So it would be naive of us to assume there won't be tipping in that direction, if not at launch at some point after. And then I've got gripes like, I just think the UI looks bad, and I don't even mean stylistically, I just mean it's got that same look that feels like overly crowded and cluttered and busy and trying to attract you to the shop and attract you to limited time events.
Looks kind of fine to me.
UIs, the way they're designed to get you to engage with these other layers of systems and to get you to engage with the monetization, I really do hate it.
WoW's UI kind of looks the same to me as well. Final Fantasy's kind of looks the same to me. This UI clears up most of the like combat here. There's your chat screen like thing over here. To access your chat, I do not know what that is. Your sound, your skills, and everything. I do not really see anything that will point you towards, oh, here, look at the shop. There's something new to buy. I do not see that. This does not look like it has anything to do with that. Like, I don't see what the problem is.
Attract you to the shop and attract you to limited time
like
events.
Where?
Like these sort of UIs, the way they're designed to get you to engage with these other layers of systems. And
there's nothing like that.
With the monetization, I really do hate it. I much prefer simple UIs. Let me focus on playing the game, not focus on your layers of monetization. If you make
WoW's and Final Fantasy's UIs is more crowded than this. I do not understand what the problem is.
Make a good game, I'll pay you more for it. I'll buy stuff. If you make a free-to-play game and I love it and I'm playing 50 hours, 100 hours or more, I will spend money on your game.
Why is it just an orange?
That they attach to try to lure people into that stuff. Just make a good game. That's what I want. Just make a good game. You know, when you put all this together, everything that we've talked about so far, it makes it pretty clear that Throne and Liberty, as it sits right now, this is a game that has changed many, many, many times over in the 10 plus years it's been in development. This used to be an isometric game. Check out some of my prior coverage. This used to be an isometric game, so it's very different from what it was when it started development all those years ago. Its current iteration clearly is designed for mobile. There's no question about that. With the way combat works and the fact that attacks root you in place, with the fact that there is auto everything, auto use of your abilities off cooldown, auto play, which they call astral hunting, auto move, and all of the timers and the limited use items and the microtransaction system and many other things that I haven't even discussed yet. All of this makes it seem pretty clear this is a game that they made to be played on phones. They're also bringing it to PC. At least other games try to hide the fact that they are mobile-centric or that they spent a lot of time with mobile as a focus in development. When they have their PC ports, they don't even try to hide it. From what I've seen, it just looks like a mobile game that you can play on PC. And I think, well, I know the reason I made this video and what makes all of this all the more frustrating is this is a game that has like a ton of really cool things going for it. There's a lot of potential here. I mean, for one, the visuals look fantastic. I can't knock them here. Seeing this game on high settings, the lighting, the environments, all the effects, some of the transitions that takes place, like when you're loading into areas, they've got this really cool transitional effect. Like visually, this game is very appealing. It also appears to be pretty well optimized, and most of the gameplay that I've seen on streams and YouTube videos seems to run pretty well, even with like 20, 30, 40 plus other players on screen. But then there are the systems, and this is the whole reason I got excited for Throne and Liberty in the first place. There's some real amazing sounding systems. They've got this huge seamless open world which does appear to bear out. As bad as the gameplay looks, the world looks impressive. It looks big. It looks like there's a lot going on, a lot of NPCs, a lot of other players. They've got their open world public dungeons, so think dungeons, but people can just wander in it. It's not like Instance where you just go in with a group of 4 or 5. Big multi-layered dungeons with a ton of verticality that people can go in and out seamlessly. You'll see tons of people in there. They've got their weather and time of day and the fact
it's very much like
world,
New Worlds, like dungeons.
Changing the terrain clean, but also buffing and weakening monsters. There's the PvP, both large scale and open world with siege battles. There's the fact that they've got a classless system where your character's abilities and their capabilities are based off the gear and the skills that you select. Like, there's so much potentially cool, but like I said, none of that matters if the game isn't fun to play, and none of it's going to matter to much of the PC crowd if this does just, which appears to be, look to be a...
So, all in all, what he's saying is that there might be some slight pay-to-win elements. The combat is a bit staticky and junky, like janky, but other than that, he has no other points. The UI does not look like it's designed to make you want to spend money. It is not. The game visually looks good. It has great systems. The offline play, actually, I really much approve of it because I think that it is very, very good for like casual players. Very good. Automatic farming, also, I don't see much of a problem with that. Like the automatic gameplay, I do not see a problem with that. If they sort out the like combat, then there's actually no problem with the automatic farming. I do not see a problem with that. The autopathing, Final Fantasy has it. I'm pretty sure WoW has it. Lost Ark, I do not know if it has it. But lots of games have automated pathing. There's no problem with that. The only problem that he seems to have with it, and he's trying to like bash the game on like the UI and all of the other types of shit, is that the combat is the problem. May have some pay to win elements, but I mean Lost Ark has it. Any gacha game technically has it. Other than the combat, I do not see a problem with the game. I absolutely do not see the problem with the game. So, I mean, let's just finish watching this and yeah.
A mobile game that they're just like shoving on a PC as well. Now, currently the game is scheduled to release later this year, sometime in October to be exact. And let me just say, they cannot move forward and release this game as it sits. In my opinion, Throne Liberty needs to be delayed again. If the game launches with the combat that we're seeing here, it's gonna get torn to shreds. It's just far below what even relatively low standards we might have for MMO combat. This doesn't cut it. It's not good enough by all accounts from what I've seen. It looks really bad. If the game is gonna have any chance here in the West with that PC MMO crowd, they absolutely need to, and I know this is no small feat, they need to update their combat system. They need to change how they approach tab targeting. Keep the auto stuff if you want, but make playing the game actually feel good. You know, if you want to launch Throne and Liberty to go, Throne and Liberty mobile version, whatever, have a blast. Go ahead. It seems probably like it's a solid mobile MMO, but it does not seem like a good PC MMO whatsoever. I'm pretty sure it would do a lot better as like a mobile MMO, because they'll earn more money off of it like that, because there is drastically more MMO like players than there is PC console, and yeah, PC and console players put together. There just is. It's factually proven that there is more mobile players than there is PC and console players. But I mean, Genshin was the main proof of it. Call of Duty Mobile is the main proof of it. It's just that there's more players. So as long as they fix the fucking combat, this game is practically good to go, in my opinion. Be comfortable in saying that, like, if what we are seeing right now were to launch on Steam today, it would be sitting at mostly like overwhelmingly negative reviews. That would be my assumption. The good news is there is still a lot of cool things here. The setting, the gameplay space, the visuals, those all look great, but they really need to fix the combat, maybe work on the UI to not make it so intrusive and ugly.
Granted, technically ugly, yes. But in terms of what you pointed out, where it's trying to like make you engage with like the shop and that, it does not do anything like that, because Lost Ark's UI is technically the same. Granted, there is lots of pay to win elements in that game, but it's still a very good fucking game. your like point of making you want to engage with the system, like the shop. What about Path of Exiles? It's basically the same. I don't see what the problem is.
And rein in what I'm assuming are going to be pretty bad microtransactions. Is that all going to happen before October?
I mean, look at this.
Rein in what I'm assuming are going to be pretty bad.
The skill bar is going to be at the bottom here. That's going to probably be up here. And where? I know this is like an older like version of the UI, but I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Bad microtransactions.
I'll go back to the previous like scenes.
October, odds are pretty slim, and that it's just disappointing because so much about what they have in this game, the world, those systems, would make for a cool game if the game were also fun to play. But it looks like we might be out of luck with Throne and Liberty. But I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. As always, I'm hoping for the best. I want good games. I like playing games. I want the games that I play to be good and be fun. Will Throne and Liberty get there?
If they fix the combat, yes.
Probably maybe somewhere pre this gameplay stuff coming out, I was like maybe 60 to 70% confident. Like there's a chance Throne and Liberty could be something. That's down to like 30, 20%.
No,
that's just how I'm feeling.
I'm about 60%. If they fix the
game once the test comes to the
if they fix the combat, this game could be good. It will have a solid player base because you can do offline farming. You can do automatic farming. There is no downside to that. If they fix the combat, this game is about a 7 out of 10. If the systems is good, if there isn't a lot of pay to win, obviously there will be if it's free to play. If the story is somewhat good and just all around the progression to endgame is somewhat decent, this game is about a 7 out of 10, maybe an 8, if they fix the combat.
West, once Amazon runs their betas of the Western version, maybe the combat is entirely different. Is it possible? I suppose, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. That's all.
Honestly, I'm actually really quite sure that if they fix the combat, this game's quite good.
Bummed. This is the reality that we have right now. Maybe I shouldn't have expected anything else from NCSoft, but here we are. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I will keep you updated on Throne and Liberty. I promise. If it gets better or worse. See ya.
I do not see
today.
Fuck you. I do not see a problem with it. Aside from the combat, I do not see a problem with the game as a whole. Like, come on. What here makes you want to go to the shop? Because the chat thing is going to be over here. Sound, your skills. I think that's your inventory. I do not know what these are. It says unequipped, so it's probably items. What here makes you want to go to the shop? I do not see one single thing. It is absolutely dumb to say that the UI makes you want to go to the shop. It's dumb. There's like no evidence to support that. Because I think that opens up the menus, but I mean, wow, what's the problem with that? And I just want to point out the Star Child. Okay. Creative name. There isn't a problem with the UI. Let me try and get another UI clip. Inventory. That looks like a camping thing. That looks like an event thing. That's a monster's health bar. This is your health bar with buffs. As I said, chat, the recording thingy, I think, there's the sound behind him, and this is the UI. There isn't a problem. I do not see, and that looks like to be the map, I think. I don't know what that is. That technically could be the shop, but it says unequipped, so I think that's an item right over there. But I think that's either a shop or a pause menu for like settings. There doesn't look like there's anything to do with the shop. I'm sorry. This is dumb. Saying that the UI makes you want to go to the shop. I mean, map, objectives, Could it be a tad bit smaller? Yes. But I'm not going to, there's virtually nothing to complain about the UI, except that it's a teeny bit ugly. Just a teeny bit. Like, I could have made the design just a tad bit, less ugly, but I mean, how are you going to do that? Have these stack over here, have more like skills, like slots over here. Other than that, I mean, all it's gonna do is crowd the like screen more. This is a very fine looking UI in my opinion. So I mean, let me know what you guys think of this. Aside from the combat, let me know if you guys have any other problems with the game. Let me know if you like agree with him that the UI is like makes you want to go to the shop more. And let me know what you guys think of the game overall. And hope you guys enjoyed.